You ever hear people talk about having a low sense of worth? You ever hear that expression? Or low self-esteem? Well, I'm going to tell you something today that you're going to doubt is true, but it is true. And I'm going to explain why it's true. And it's kind of going to change, hopefully, your perspective of the thing. You'll never be able to hear these expressions, low self-worth, low self-esteem, the same way again. And it might even help you in your life, might help you in your discussions with other people. You might be able to spread the word, and together you and I might be able to turn this thing on its head. So this expression, low self-worth, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. Low self-esteem, it's not a thing. Why do I say that low self-worth is not a thing, that it's not true? That there is no such thing as low self-worth, and there's no such thing as low self-esteem. Can you guess why? Here's the explanation. There's no such thing as low self-worth. There's only such thing as no self-worth. You still doubting me, but that's all right. We're going to talk about this for a second. Do you remember how I explained to you that there are two different value system types in life? And there's a real problem that occurs when people grow up only understanding the one type rather than both types. Do you remember what those two types are? Well, there's the commercial value system. That applies to things like cars, iPhones, television sets, and things of that nature. The commercial value system. And what do we know about the commercial value system? In the commercial value system, where does the value come from? Let's take an iPhone. In the commercial value system, is it the iPhone that is itself producing the worth or the value? We know it's not, because if nobody wants that iPhone, if nobody wants it, then it has no value. It doesn't matter if Apple tries to sell that iPhone for 50% off. If nobody wants it, it's not even worth that. I think I told you some time back that I've got an old iPhone up there on the shelf. It works. It's just a few years old. I cannot sell it. I can't get anybody to give me $10 for it, and I'm not joking about that. What was once worth hundreds of dollars, when it first come out, I can't even sell now for $10. Do you see how under the commercial value system, value can fluctuate? It comes and goes, but the item itself is not what produces the value. What is it that produces the value in the commercial value system? What people think. Do people want that phone? Do people want that thing? Do they admire it? Do they like it? If they do, in the commercial value system, it has lots of value. But if they don't, what happens to that value? It goes away, or it lessens, right? I want you to think for a second what we've just said. Think real hard about everything we've just said. Where does the value come from? It comes from people, other people, what other people think. Remember, the iPhone does not generate or produce any value on its own. Well, what does that mean? What it means is that by itself, it's worthless. A car, brand new car, shiny, sparkly, brand new car, got all the bells and whistles and everything. Yes, you might be able to sell that car for $100,000. You might even pay $100,000 for a car like that. But the car itself is not producing the value. The value is based on how many people want that car, what people think. So what does that necessarily mean for the car? It necessarily means that it's worthless. Try to wrap your mind around that. Yes, you might be willing to pay $100,000 for it. The car by itself is still worthless. The only reason the dealership can get $100,000 out of you is because of what you think, what everybody else thinks. People desiring the car, people wanting the car. You see, the value then is in your wanting it. It's not in the car itself. Do you understand? The value is not in the car itself. The car is not generating any value whatsoever. You're generating the value for it. So if you take away you wanting the car and everybody else wanting the car, and you're just left with the car, what's it worth? Nothing. It is worthless. This car that I'm going to pay $80,000 for is worthless. It's worthless. The worth is in me wanting it. I'm giving the car worth. You're giving the car worth. Everybody's giving the car worth. But by itself, the car is worthless. That's the commercial value system. Where does this thing that people refer to as low self-worth, where does that come from? Well, that brings us to this other value type. You've got the commercial value system, and then you've got the inherent value system. The difference with the inherent value system is very interesting, because in the inherent value system, it works the exact opposite. Whereas in the commercial value system, the thing itself does not generate the worth. In the inherent value system, the thing itself does generate the worth. In the commercial value system, where the thing's worth depends on everybody else, what everybody else thinks, what people think, in the inherent value system, the worth is totally independent of what people think. It doesn't matter what people think, because the thing itself is generating the value. Isn't that interesting? The two types of value systems operate completely opposite of each other. In every way that the commercial value system works, the inherent value system works the complete opposite. And in every way that the inherent value system works, the commercial value system works the complete opposite to that. Isn't that interesting? So where are we going at with this? People suffer from a sense of low, this erroneous term, low self-worth or low self-esteem, only when they have been raised understanding only the commercial value type, the commercial value system. And so the mistake they make, which is understandable because they only know the one type, but the mistake that they make, naturally, is that they apply the commercial value system to people. And what have we established the commercial value system says about where worth comes from in that system? Well, we've established, haven't we, that the thing itself cannot generate the value. The value comes from what people think. So people who are living with that erroneous concept of how human value works, they're applying the commercial value system to human beings. Once a person does that, even if they're not consciously aware of the significance, the full significance of that, unconsciously they are. And unconsciously they know that if the commercial value system applies to them, they are worthless. So there's only those two value types. There's only those two value systems that exist in life, the commercial and the inherent. The person living with the understanding that human value is inherent to what you are, that person does not suffer from self-esteem issues, doesn't suffer from self-worth issues. Why not? Because they're providing the value. And whether people like them or not doesn't detract from it in any way. People who apply the commercial value system to human beings, themselves included, are living with the unconscious certainty that just on their own, they have no value. They're worthless. Because why? Because any sense of value they get to enjoy has to come from outside of them. And what external source is what provides value under that system? What people think. Those are the only two. There's only a person with the unconscious belief that they have no worth, they themselves have zero worth. There's that belief, that attitude system, and then there's the attitude system that a person has inherent value, but there's no middle ground. There's no in between. So the healthy person is never going to be suffering from self-esteem issues. Who is the only person who's going to suffer from self-esteem issues? Somebody who lives with the other belief system, the unhealthy belief system, the one where inherent value doesn't exist, where value has to come from outside of oneself in the form of what other people think. If you exist in that reality, air quotes, then in that reality, the thing itself does not provide any of its own value. What does that mean? It means that the person views themselves as valueless. Where does the value have to come? It has to come from what other people think. So where's the value? Where does the value exist? Not in you. The value is in what people think. So in that belief system, can you have what people refer to as just low self-worth? No, you have zero self-worth. You see that? In that belief system, there is no such thing as some in-between. You either do believe in inherent value or you don't. There's no I kinda do. There is no I kinda do. You either do or you don't. And how will you know? Well, your interpretation of life is what will tell you.